Should I start?
Yeah, yes. I'll just tell what
Okay.
exactly this forum is as we communicate it to you. With the expansion of the council system in Pune, especially now we have, two full-fledged temples, Shri Shri Radha Kunj Bihari Mandir, Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Mandir. And there are many other centers which are almost now like temple in terms of the size of congregation, number of brahmacharis. So we felt that the council system is expanding and it is expanding in different centers, different places. So then we felt that, we should come up with some standard manual or we can say kind of guideline book so that we are able to maintain the same kind of system all across the Pune city at least, because Pune is not too big of a city also. And devotees oftentimes move geographically from one place to another, and sometimes there's a change of counselor like that. And our campaigns are also very parallelly run. So we thought that if there's a system of guidance which is already there in the form of council system, but which is well synchronized, then it will be very good. And also our council system has expanded in terms of the number of councils. Now we have 52 councillors at Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Mandir NVCC. Then we have what do you call? We have around 35 councillors at Camp Temple, and then we have 12 councillors at Vishal Nagar. So even the number wise, it's increasing. And as more number of councillors, join this group and enter this service, we felt a need for a manual so that everyone can refer to that and we can keep on updating it with the new clauses and, whatever new resolutions may come up. So it acts as a standardization thing for the whole system, and it will be very helpful in long run to stabilize the system of guidance and care for the community. So with that, we came up with the manual and we thought of launching it online, starting by your address. We already sent it to all the councils online, and they have read it, and some devotees have raised certain queries, which we'll answer in this session after your talk. And we're very grateful that you have agreed to be here. And all of us know you very well, but I often see that just like Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wrote Sikshastakam verses and he did things. He did not so much of documented and systematize the things. So similarly, in the early days of Radhagopinath Mandir, Chopati Temple, we saw that how His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, he made the community, and it was not by following any document, but he just made it. It was from his heart, and he established the systems of care and shelter. But then I see that you, with your contemplations, are coming up with the systems to back that up, so that the system can go on one hand, and also it can be replaced or not replaced, but re-established at different places. So we saw that how you have given so many lectures on the council system at many places. You also give seminars on devotee care. They are very nourishing. And I especially like that offering which you had given about, how Srila Prabhupada made a house in which the whole world can live in. And you compared the floor and the walls and the windows and the doors and the roof to the caring system. It was very much adaptable for that. And of course, highlight as care as a system and care as a virtue, which I cannot forget it so much emphasized. So we have seen that the system which actually started as it was well thought of, but it just started. It was not that first the documents were made, systems and the policies were set, and then it started. Actually, the system was started, but later on I saw that you very nicely through your team documented the things and made it repeatable. And then you made the mentor system in Chapati and the training system for them, guiding system for them, and how the system will function. So it was something like Mahaprabhu starting the moment and the Goswamis, giving his Shastric support to take it further. And then now we have so many scriptures. So similarly, the system started without any manual or guideline book. But now the system is growing and so many people are taking advantage of it. Now we're feeling a need of document it. And we felt that you can share your thoughts on it, how you see the system growing from those early days of literally early 90s till now, and how in Chapati you have also made systems to organize it well and to see that every devotee is coming to temple get well connected and is well sheltered and well cared for through the system. So we thought of hearing from you and then going ahead with the further things. So thank you very much. We can't actual garland to put on, so virtually I'm putting the garland of yesterday's Pushavishek festival on your uh, uh, neck, and then we just
You're putting verbal garland on my all over my body.
Thank you.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनं शलाकं चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम राम।
Prabhuji, if it suits you, is Hindi also okay with you? Some devotees have requested. We are okay with English also. There are not many devotees of Hindi, but some devotees request. If it is fully comfortable with you.
Hindi?
If you feel fully comfortable, Prabhuji, if you feel that English is better, then you're okay with that.
I would prefer English.
You can continue in English, Prabhuji, then. Most of the
maybe उसको आप बाद में अनुवाद कर सकते हैं.
Okay.
Because कुछ शब्द ऐसे हैं जो अगर अंग्रेजी में व्यक्त करूंगा तो थोड़ा ज्यादा ही स्पष्ट होगा.
Yes.
क्या करेंगे?
Much Hindi devotees, Prabhuji. Yes, yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you can continue in English. No problem.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me clearly, loudly?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, as you rightly put, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj spontaneously, out of his wisdom and his compassion and his conviction, started the system. But if you want to replicate it on a larger scale, then both are necessary. One is the people who are part of that system should carry those virtues, the qualities, and qualify themselves to do caregiving. So there are caregivers who are taking care of people in the system, and there should be a caring administrator who runs the whole system, and they should also be very caringly put robust systems in place. Who gets into the system, whether they are fulfilling the criteria, and when does a person become, needs to be given a feedback, all of those things. And I see that leadership at Pune is very good at putting systems in place. And I was very happy to see the manual developed. I'm going to use it now to share it with other devotees, satellite centers, Kolhapur and others. Thinking, but you have made it so nicely. So today, basically, I would like to, as Anantashesh Prabhu requested me, the mood of a caregiver. That is what I would like to emphasize on. So I had a deep realization after 20-25 years of being in the counselor system about these three words that we use so commonly, but the gravity of those three words, a counselor or a caregiver is a friend, philosopher, and guide. So I have been loosely using that. But the realization of what these three are came to me much later. And when I got that understanding, I said, wow, it's a profound word. And each of them carry a lot of wisdom and qualifications. So, and that is when I was Sachinandan Maharaj's one presentation about caregiving. There he talks about the three qualities of a caregiver. And I found it to be fully in alignment with these three words of French philosopher and guide. The three qualities that he talks, I don't know, I may have shared sometimes. Even if it is repetitive, I don't mind repeating 100 times. But it's really worth that every caregiver should aspire for these three qualities. And within these three qualities are all other qualities that a caregiver should have. It's all encompassing. That's how profound it is. And those three qualities are trustworthiness, accessibility, and willingness to help. So I will explain. I wanted to show the PowerPoint, but somehow, I was trying, but it's not happening. So, but I'll read it out at least. So the first thing is trustworthiness, which means the counselees or the care receivers in the system can trust the caregiver, trust the counselor. So how Srila Prabhupada gave us the principle of love and trust. Okay? Trust starts with us. If we can't trust ourselves, others can't trust us. And we can't trust ourselves, as Prabhupada writes in Kamsa. Kamsa promised Vasudev that, okay, only 8 child. So, okay, no problem. 8 child I will destroy. But because he couldn't trust his own senses and mind, he couldn't keep up his words. While as Vasudev could be trusted because his mind and senses were controlled. So trust starts with us. If you want to transform a temple, if you want to transform people in the community, in a department, or even a family for that matter, or our counselees, it begins with trust at personal level. Now, other devotees' trust in us grows out of our personal trustworthiness, our character, and our competence. And when mutual trust exists, the caregiver trusts the people under them, and the people under them trust the caregiver, then everyone feels motivated to go out of their way and help and support one another. So that is very important. Now, so every caregiver must ask this question to themselves with deep integrity and with honesty. What is that question? What is it like being in a relationship with me? Those who have a relation with me, what is it like to be in a relationship with me? In the sense, do I keep promises when I make them? Do I keep commitments when I make them? To the extent we don't keep our promises, even the smallest ones, and keep our commitments, then people will not trust us. And once they can't trust, they won't open themselves fully. And therefore, the whole system becomes simply a ritualistic thing. without free flow of emotions and, knowledge also and wisdom. We should also ask, do we acknowledge and apologize if I make a mistake? If I realize I made a mistake, do I acknowledge? Yes, sorry, I told something, I couldn't do it. Do I apologize? Even though apparently it looks like a weakness, but it increases the trust in the caregiver of the people under them. Do I remain loyal to the absent? If you're discussing about some other third person, and if that person is not there, can I speak loosely about that person? Because if I do, then those who are listening to us will not trust that when we speak with someone else about them, we will speak loosely. So, are we loyal to the absent? And not speak anything till we actually either personal, physical presence. And do we share information, whatever is necessary, whether it is positive or negative, with people who need it? It will benefit them. Of course, it should be told in a proper way. That means being honest, even though it requires maturity, how to speak, what to say, how much to say. Okay. Do we also involve people in decisions that affect them, or simply give orders? If you don't involve people, especially in decisions that affect them, then naturally our trust in people will reduce. Do we give credit where it is due? If people see that I have taken information from some place, but I'm taking credit for myself and not speaking where I got this from, then again people will think that whatever I speak, he is going to take and speak somewhere. So that trust will reduce. And do I communicate clearly and consistently, regardless of the situation or the person's authority or influence? Whatever it is, I need to communicate straight. And most important, do I honor confidential and sensitive information? Confidentiality, if is broken, then the relationship is sealed forever. So how much, what kind of information should be confidential? All these are very, very, especially sensitive information that has been shared in confidence, how we keep it. And do we really understand the benefits of increased trust? And when trust is there, it's much easier to work and do wonderful services. But without that, so much of, problems come up, and everything has to be written down, this and that, and that. And truly, the trust is so important because it lies at the very core of spiritual leadership and effective devotee interaction. So that's okay. So now the question is, what should I, as a caregiver, as a counselor, do to increase my trustworthiness in the eyes of my people whom I am serving? Number one, am I aligned with Prabhupada's teachings? So we should first of all carefully and scrutinizingly study Prabhupada's books, and we should align ourselves. Our thoughts, our words, and our actions should be in alignment with Srila Prabhupada's teachings. Also, not only the books, but are we connected to trustworthy sources of knowledge? Our own spiritual masters, our Acharya Sampradaya, and our scriptures, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. These are trustworthy source of knowledge. To the extent we align ourselves with that, people will trust us. Of course, it's not just about speaking, it's about realization of those scriptures. To the extent we are sincerely putting it in our own life, we will develop deep realization about those statements. And also, is our knowledge grounded in experience? Otherwise, it will be very theoretical, very superficial. Our even guidance that we give will be only theoretical and not practical. So is the knowledge that we are giving, is it world relevant and applied? Or is it just, like a memorized thing being presented? Do we live with integrity? Meaning, do we walk our talk? And are we exemplary? It's a big responsibility, actually. We are leaders. So are we exemplary in our sadhana, sadachar, everything like that? Do people trust our character? Are we honest in our dealings? Are we reliable and predictable in our behavior? And most of all, do we maintain confidentiality when certain things are shared? And another very important thing which enhances people's trust in the caregivers is, are they detached? You have to be responsible for your counselees, but detached from possessing them, controlling them. There is difference between controlling and caring. Caring without controlling is a very, very important quality when I am a genuine well-wisher of that individual. Whatever is best for that individual, if I can give, I will give. If I can't give, humbly I accept my limitation and refer them to somebody else for that particular matter. Not that you have to change the counselor. No, you can tell, for this, in this matter, please go to this person. In fact, the more you speak like this and let that person and expose that person to the larger community, the more their faith in you grows. But those who are insecure, they try to possess and control. They lose their faith. Either the counselees don't open up, and they are scared that if they go to somebody else, you may, reject them, you may not interact with them. And also there is a fear of offense, Vaishnava Aparad, if it is not maturely navigated and guided. So even attachment to responsibly guiding them, and detachment from possessing them or controlling them. Now, how do we betray the trust of people? Our every thought, action, and word, our every interaction with our people can enhance their trust or betray their trust. Every moment, every second, every interaction. So there are broadly 4 types of betrayal. One is minor and the other one is major betrayal. Betrayal matlab, don't see it as a very, very vishwasghat, not like that. But subtly we are betraying. And even both in the minor and in major, there is intentional and unintentional. So there are basically four permutation combinations. One is minor unintentional. Repeatedly arriving late for the meetings. So people say, Prabhu ji thoda transcendental hai samay ke baare mein. What they are telling is, we can't trust this individual with regard to time. प्रभु जी पैसे के बारे में थोड़े ट्रांसेंडेंटल है देते वक्त लेते वक्त याद रहता है, देते वक्त भूल जाते हैं. What does that mean? They can't trust us with regard to money. So they speak in a very Vaishnava way, but they are telling clearly, we don't trust. Not keeping agreements, not answering phones or emails. Today I started late, you have lost a little bit. Anand Shesh Prabhu has slightly lost trust in me. Though very lovingly he is telling that, Prabhuji, I know you're very busy, very, very sorry. But he is telling, यार 11:30 बोला था और मेरे को फिर से फोन करना पड़ रहा है 11:32 को. So which means if I say something, I have to live up to that. So these are minor, unintentional way which people gradually lose trust. Then there is minor intentional. What is that? Gossiping or backbiting. If we gossip about others and do backbiting in front of someone else, they know that they will do about me even with others. So they lose trust. Accepting credit for another's work or not giving credit where it is due. These are minor but intentional. Then major unintentional. What is that? Delegating without giving authority. If you delegate someone to do some service and don't give him the authority, you keep the authority with yourself. Unintentionally, sometimes you don't know the art of delegating. And therefore you end up creating big distrust. Or major and intentional trust is lost when confidential information is spoken out without approval and permission. So all these things are very, very important in trust building. These are, I'm kind of summarizing. It's already getting late. I'm going to Mayapur for a devotee care course. And in the airport, I can't say I came late. You can wait, but they will not wait for me. So I will leave, but I will share with the other things. So this is about trustworthiness. The second thing, quality, is accessibility. And what does that accessibility mean? Accessibility means that the counselee feels my voice is heard with interest, my caregiver wants to listen to me, he actually cares for me. So being available, having the time to listen and understand before being understood. Now, being there for a person are of two types. One is physically accessible, visiting that person, making a phone call, or writing a mail. Another one is mentally accessible. Mentally accessible means to able to connect through that person's feelings. Sometimes it happens, I don't know if you have had experience. You go to some authority and you tell him, even before he hears you fully, he starts giving prescriptions and directions, and you feel you have not been heard. Even if his decision is right, even if his guidance is appropriate, but if he does not feel heard, he will have reluctance and acceptance to be able to relate and connect. Have you ever felt like that? That when you go to someone and you speak, Prabhuji, I want to share with you something. Yes, please. And you say something, and he says, so if I understand you right, you're feeling like this. Exactly, Prabhuji. And then he tells more. Then you say, so if I understand, this is your feeling, and this is how आपको ऐसा लग रहा है, and you feel exactly, Prabhuji, exactly, which means you are able to connect emotionally to that individual. Opposite is that is you go to someone, Prabhuji ऐसा, नहीं 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 मैं समझ गया ऐसा है, नहीं 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 प्रभु जी ऐसा नहीं है, मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, हाँ समझ गया ऐसा है ना, नहीं 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 प्रभु जी ऐसा भी नहीं है, क्या यार, नहीं नहीं प्रभु जी एक काम करते हैं हम लोग बाद में मिलते हैं. So there are people who out of etiquette and a community kind of a situation, they never leave their counselors because of the fear that it will rock the boat in the community. People will either question the counselor, तू छोड़ा काउंसलर का कुछ गड़बड़ी है क्या, या काउंसिल ही आपका कुछ गड़बड़ी था क्या, इसके निकाल दिया आपको. So they don't go away from the counselor, but they have no connectivity with the counselor. They don't open up. So that's a very unfortunate situation. So that is about accessibility. And please understand, you cannot force yourself as a counselor into your counselee's heart. You cannot manipulate or trick anyone into entering their heart and trying to understand what their feelings are. The feelings of the heart is a very sacred space, and one cannot, by force, by manipulation, or by trick, enter someone else's heart's emotions, feelings, and beliefs until and unless there is consistent trustworthiness demonstrated by the counselors. So, trustworthiness and accessibility is as important for a counselee as a safe harbor for a ship that has been sailing through rough seas. It's like a shelter. It's like relief from the outside world when they come and express their heart to a counselor, trusting fully that they will be properly understood, non-judgmentally accepted, and sensitively, maturely guided. So what should I do to be accessible? To be accessible, you have to organize your time properly. If you don't give quality time, if you are not organized person, then you can't make time. You have to create time. And for that, you have to organize your life first. So time management is necessary for being accessible. And stability. If your life is not stable, if you are financially not stable, in your relationship, if you are not stable, how can you take out time for others? So we have to have a proper work-life balance, or I would say seva life balance, not work-life. In fact, a Vaishnava is daksha, means expert. He's very professional. He's not a professional person, but in his organizing his own life and guiding the lives of others, he's very professional, which means very reliable and very expert. He's not wishy-washy. He's not disorganized, or what we call as spaced out, as irresponsible. And most important, willingness to learn. He should know, he should out of humbly feel, I'm not qualified for this position. I'm not qualified for this service. But that's not only speaking. He should try to qualify himself to do whatever it takes. Different skill sets should be learned. communication skills, presentation skills, all kinds of skill sets. You should equip yourself to make yourself. A Vaishnava is an expert. So he should try to become an expert in all the skill sets that are necessary to execute this responsibility in a very proper way. And diligence in his service and effort. And the third and the last quality, other than trustworthiness and accessibility, is willingness to help. So willingness to help, why that willingness to help? Because the nature of a practitioner of spirituality, there is a tendency to go off the track. Sometimes they are fair weather devotees. The situation is good, weather is good, they perform devotion service. The situation goes bad, if they have crisis in their life, and crises are inevitable. Health crisis, relationship crisis, financial crisis. Inevitably, everyone's life, sometime or the other, to some degree or the other, it will come. And during that time, everything goes haywire. Our sadhana, our services. So people shouldn't be judged that they are insincere just because somebody is not able to perform their devotional service as per your expectation or as per what is their expectation. And that's why they are into the system. And therefore, we should be sensitive to that and willing to have patience. We can't be impatient with people. Oh, you didn't come for 3 meetings, out with you. I am a very strict person, you cannot come. Why were you not able to come? Are you going through some difficult situation? Can I serve you? Can I help you in some way? So one has to be a little patience. One have to have a little patience and tolerance. Sometimes people may ask the same question again and again for many reasons. So I have to have patience. And that comes if there is a deep desire of willingness to help. A plane, according to Sachinandan Maharaj, especially on very, very long flights and going high, very, very high international flights, 90% of the time they are off track because of the wind speed on the top. And the purpose of, and the captain of the plane, pilot, the only thing he does is keeps bringing it on track. Similarly, a devotee due to crisis in life can go off track, but the counselor very patiently, very lovingly, slowly keep trying to bring him again on track. In fact, when they develop trust in the caregiver, they expect guidance, they secretly crave for correction. But that correction has to be done in a very, very respectful and a very sensitive way, with genuine affection for that individual and truly being non-judgmental. So what are the skills needed for developing this willingness to help? Deep friendship, intimacy, confidential exchange. That's what these meetings are. Meeting is only 20%. Relationship is 80%. Meeting is only 20%. Just if a person not coming for meeting, as long as he's in touch with the counselor, as long as he takes guidance in the major willingly, not forcibly, just because the system requires it, that means you are successful counselor. That he wants to consult with you because he trusts you that you will guide him properly. So there should be care and compassion. There should be empathic listening. It's a skill that must be learned. How to listen empathically, how to be non-judgmental while we help others, and willingness to sacrifice. You cannot enjoy your own private life and extend. No, to the extent you take these responsibilities, to that extent, your private life will be interfered with these people. So there should be sacrifice. You have to sacrifice your private life to some extent. So I will tell you why I said I understood this deeper understanding of friend, philosopher, and guide. A friend means trustworthiness. I trust him. He's my well-wisher. His intentions are pure. He simply wants to help me. He's not attached to me. He's attached to helping me, but not attached to possessing and controlling me. So friend means genuine well-wisher. And philosopher means he is equipped with the Siddhanta. And guide means he is expert in maturely, balanced way, timely guidance to the individual. So guide means the expertise, the skills, knowledge, skills, and values we say. Na? Knowledge is Siddhanta. Skill is sadhana. And value is sadachara. So friend, philosopher, guide. Friend means truly well-wishing, trustworthiness. And accessibility is a skill set. To be accessible, to be able to connect with that person, to guide in a very mature and balanced way. And philosopher means you are expert in understanding the mood of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra and represent it properly. So I don't know whether I loaded my talk with heavy statements like sutras, but basically these are the three qualities. And if individually and collectively, if we equip ourselves with these three qualities, our services will be very effective. Hare Krishna. So I am getting a little bit delayed, but I can take a couple of questions if there are any.
Shankar Pandit, we can ask.
Haribol, Shankar Pandit Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat. Prabhu, very wonderful talk. You are very concisely presenting. You are famous for this. I had a quick question on the accessibility part or availability part. So, on a personal preference, I would prefer to be available on a personal basis, like direct talking. But somehow in the modern times, we find people are more connected with the social media. So they may prefer to have a quick decision or on a WhatsApp, like they may be expecting a yes or no kind of answer or something very quick rather than spending personal time, investing more energy in it. So whereas I may not be so comfortable with the social media part of giving guidance. So how is that in the difference in the medium of availability?
Very interesting and important question, Prabhu. 2-3 days back, Madan Gopal Prabhu gave a Bhagavatam class in our temple, and you should listen to that class. If a person is sincere, if a person is genuinely wanting answers and very serious to pursue your guidance, he will wait whatever it takes to get a proper answer. If that person is restless, he wants quick answer, and he may or may not, just like the example Madan Gopal Prabhu gave, that one person approached Parashar Bhatta, wanting to get an answer. And Parashar Bhatta said, you go to Tirupati. And he went there. 6 months he served. उसके बाद एक क्रिप्टिक आंसर दिए, बोले अरे इसका समझ में नहीं आया, कैन यू एक्सप्लेन? बोले नहीं, जाके पराशर भट्ट से पूछो. He comes back from Tirupati. Or Dasharatha wanted to know what is surrender, and he sent him to serve as a cook to Mahapurna, his guru's daughter Matulai, his house. So the point is, his problem is he wants immediate answer. But if he's genuine and if he's serious about wanting the answer, he should be ready to wait. That doesn't mean you should make him wait.
Yeah.
For some things, should I catch the flight or not, you should give immediate answer. But if he's asking some serious, deep questions which is going to give a different direction in his life. As Krishna says, Sei murkha ami vigya vishay kene diba. Swa charanamrita diya vishay. He is a fool, but you are not a fool. He wants a quick answer. No, I have to think about it. It's a serious thing. You don't understand the gravity of the question that you ask. But I understand the gravity and I will not. And if you want immediate question, go to someone who can give you that. I cannot give you these kind of things. If you are ready to take my service on my terms, okay. Otherwise, the whole community is open. Go where you get that kind of a thing. One should be very clear. They need to be guided in these things. You cannot, in this world, today's world where everything happens at the fingertip. Sorry. Things in life, in nature, things don't happen quickly. Anything that happens quickly goes quickly. What to speak of relationships or major decisions of people's lives. You cannot just quickly answer in the name of being efficient. I don't know if it answers your question.
Yeah, thank you very much for this guides. Very nicely.
Yeah, thank you. One last question before. Yes, somebody has raised it. Krishna.
Yeah, Krishna Kishore, Haribol Prabhu.
Haribol, Krishna Kishore Prabhu. Hari. You're hiding behind the screen.
Prabhuji, I just want a very nice talk as usual, even though in a very short time you convey a lot of critical content nicely. The question about is, Prabhuji, every counselor has his own plus and minus, right? I mean, each of us comes with our strength and weakness. Someone is very good with organizing seva. Someone is good with, doing services together, like taking book distribution, etc. Someone may be good in giving advice. Somebody may be good in more in Siddhanta. So every counselor has his strength actually. And he has his weakness also consequently. So sometimes what happens is seen is, over a period of time, that counselor's strengths and weakness also become the strength and weakness of that group also. As in, you get the point, right? So he's good at something, then that group may be doing well in that. And he's not good at something, then his group itself is not doing well in that. I've not figured out how that can have a solution or something, but I thought of just raising it here.
Thank you for this very, very crucial community-related question. The first level of strength is to know your strengths. How do you know your strengths? Whenever you have taken a decision in that particular field, you have always been more or less always right. That's your strength. You go to next level of strength when you know your limitations and shortcomings. And how do you know what are your shortcomings and limitations? In the past, whenever you have assumed and taken some decisions, you have seen that in that particular field, your understanding is not so, always it has been, not so perfect in judging people or in financial matters or in terms of organizing things, whatever, each one's is different. So the first level of strength is to know your strengths humbly and honestly. You go to next level of strength when you know what your limitation and strength, what your limitations and shortcomings are. In the same, or in other words, even your strength can become a limitation or a shortcoming in another circumstance or a situation. A strength is strength in one particular situation. The same strength is a limitation in another situation. So not only you know your strengths, but also when this strength could be a limitation and what are your shortcomings and limitations. And you go to third level of strength when you know in those fields where I have a shortcoming and limitation, there is another devotee whose strength is in that particular field of knowledge or field of activity. And then you tie up with that person and you refer an individual for that particular thing to that individual in the community. Then 1 + 1 is not 2, 1 + 1 is 11. And when the counselees see that my counselor regularly refers to me, if need be, to another individual in the community, he develops faith in the whole community as a big family who are together to serve me. It takes a whole village to raise a child, it said. So each one has a strength, and all of us have our own shortcomings and limitations. But when we come together as a counselor community and regularly interact amongst counselors, sharing the best practices and the success and failures of ours, then all our shortcomings and limitations combined will be ironed out and our strengths will be multiplied. And as a community, we will become a powerful force to reckon with for Maya. Hare Krishna. I think I will.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Conclude.
Question, Prabhuji? Is there time for one question, Prabhuji?
Okay, one last question.
Okay. So thank you, Prabhuji, for the concise class.
Who is speaking? Who is speaking? I'm not able to see their face.
Your servant, Janava Devi.
Hari Bol. Mataji.
Hari Bol. Yes.
Please accept my dandavat.
Please accept mine, Prabhuji.
Hari,
so, Prabhuji, yeah, this was a very nice point that you said, minor betrayal and major betrayal, intentional, unintentional, both. So, we see that sometimes some counselor's character is not very good. He may have cheated other counselees, but he continues to be a counselor. He doesn't have the strength that to say that, okay, I'm making a mistake, or I need not be there as a counselor for some time. I should either draw back my, resignation, or take a little period, and leave and then come back later. So if he doesn't have the strength, does the temple should have the strength to tell him to leave because people are talking about him? Or some counselor has not a good relation with his wife and is having a lot of problem, and the counselors are talking about it, people are talking, but he still continues to be a counselor. So how do we develop faith in the system then?
Thank you. Thank you for asking this question. First of all, this is the difference between a Kanishta and a Madhyama society. In a Kanishta society, people are respected for their position, for the authority they wield over others. And the amount of designations they have. And an insecure person depends upon that. In a Madhyamadikari society, relationships are valued more than any other thing. Position, power, all those things. And therefore, and character is valued, integrity is valued in such a community. But for a person to express their heart, they should feel that shelter in the leadership, that even if I express myself, I will not be publicly slaughtered, but I will be handled with care. Then they will express. On their own, they will come. If they are really sincere, they will reveal to their fellow, at least one it's an opulence to have even one person in your life with whom you can express yourself fully. If a person doesn't have even one individual in the community, it's a very sad thing that the person has to survive. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. If I speak out, then I may be thrown out. And if I don't speak out, then the issue with the community. And so therefore, yes, what you are right. The Radhanath Swami Maharaj says, the maturity of an institution is judged by not that problems don't come, but when they do come up, how you deal with it maturely. So when dealing with such leaders who have given the best part of their life and energy and time to serving, when they go through issues, it must be handled in a very sensitive way, in a proper way, keeping the dignity of the individual, but addressing the fault. Not that throw the baby out of the bathwater. This is where the maturity of the whole community and the leadership comes into picture. I think...
my question, continue to be a counselor, or we should request him for some time to step down? Because then people having lost faith, not that he's a counselor, but he's doing this. But he continues to be a counselor, then how the faith...
Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you. Let's give the example of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How he dealt with Kala Krishna Das. Institutionally, he was handled strongly, but personally, the devotees took care of him. So the mistakes were addressed, whether it is Chota Haridas, which was just an example to show to the whole world, and Kala Krishna Das. He did such service, but Mahaprabhu, from an institutional point of view, removed him from his service. Again, hate the sin, not the sinner. Keep the dignity of the individual. If a person is sick, do you throw him out of the window? If he has during the pandemic, Corona, it's not that because your relative, your family member got a Corona, you throw him out of the window. No. You keep a respectful distance and keep him in a position where he can't affect others. Take away that situation where he can affect others, but take care of him. The Corona will go and he will come back. So this is where the maturity comes. You have to be firm in dealing with the issue, but very sensitive in dealing with the person. Otherwise, we are sending a strong message. Shape up or sheep out. We will not tolerate. As long as you're a perfect person, okay, make one little mistake and we will slaughter you and hang you in the public. This is not Vaishnav culture. I know it is choti muh badi baat, but I'm just, what I have heard, I'm sharing. I may not have realization of this, but I have full conviction that to the extent we are sending a statement, the way we deal with each person, how we value devotees, and how we are strong about principles and integrity and character. We value that, but we also value individuals. who have given their life to the mission. So you are very, very mature, Mataji. You all can take that, but I'm just kind of sharing whatever I have seen, the way Maharaj deals, Radhanath Swami Maharaj deals with certain people, how he responded in these kind of situations. Dealt with sensitivity, but firmness. Iron hand in a velvet glove.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So, and ending with blessing of Dhanva Mataji. For
Come
my
to-
devotee care course, I'm going to Mayapur right now. So please
Very
bless me that I can. There's a whole Russian community, 600 people, and they want to do a devotee care course for them. So I'm going there. So I have your blessings.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank you,
Hari
His
Bol, Hare
Grace
Krishna.
Radhagopinath Prabhu, for wonderfully sharing your realizations. And I'm thanking you, I'm Jaydev here, on behalf of all the
Yes, Prabhu,
counsellors.
Jai Dev Prabhu.
Yes, for a wonderful realization regarding a friend, philosopher, and guide, having wonderful qualities of trustworthiness, accessibility, and willingness to help. So please pray at Mayapur. Then we all of us will introspect about these qualities, and we try to please you to some extent by demonstrating these qualities in our day-to-day life and dealing with our counseling. So thank you very much. We are grateful to you, indebted to you actually for sharing such wonderful realizations, and wish you a wonderful trip in Mayapur. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jai Dev Prabhu. Now I'm feeling empowered and blessed. Thank you, Hari Bol.
Very well.
Thank you, Revtipati Prabhu, for facilitating this soul meeting.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. We are so feeling immensely blessed. We just spoke the right thing which we actually needed to hear. And it was so well put. I request that because you all have Kaliuga memories, so please share the PPT. They are part of life now. So I believe you have a PPT for this, so you can, if it is
Actually, I was not speaking concisely. I was just reading out the PPT.
okay.
And if I had elaborated, it would have taken 3 hours.
No,
Just
so
giving.
we are keeping a session due on this. So next time when you come, 3-hour session we'll keep for all the counselors on this.
Actually, I would prefer that.
This
Yeah.
is very vital.
Because for each, I can give a case study, practical case study.
Yeah, that
Not
makes
3 hours, a day seminar.
Hari Bol.
So please do come, Vijay. Please share the PPT if you can. If you can share, otherwise you can present it when you come. Yeah, thank you.
I would prefer sharing it along with the case study together. There are more. Today I only covered certain things. There are more. I can cover them during that time.
So I look forward, Vijay. I will work out with your schedule. Visit here.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hari Bol. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hari Hari.